Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I'm at Heroes Park in Meridian on Sunday morning on Father's Day on the 20th of June. And just right at the start of this video, I want to acknowledge fathers everywhere. I lost my father this year, so this is particularly a little bit of a bittersweet day for me today. But hey, if you still got your dad, cherish him. If your dad's gone, cherish his memory. And if you're a dad, enjoy your children. And but in any case, let's talk about what we're talking about here. I originally came out here because on the Fimi X8 Mini, I noticed late last night that we had a firmware update as well as the camera update that was a few days ago that I hadn't done yet, so I did them both. So the flight control firmware updated from 1009H to 1010B, and I'll put that up on the screen. And the camera firmware updated from 2007C to 2009C. So I've already flown the flight, and you're going to hear during my narration because this changed. This is a DJI Mini versus Fimi Mini video now, and originally I was just testing the firmware on the Fimi Mini. So you'll hear me talk about what we saw with the Fimi Mini, and what you're going to see is I had a number of issues with dropouts, FPV dropouts, blockiness on FPV, and even at a couple of points there lost control signal. I tried flying across the road into the field out there and didn't get out there but about 200 or 250 meters and lost full signal, and it turned around and came back. And we saw some horizon issues and so forth. It does appear that they did some changes that really helped the gimbal pitch shift issue with this guy. In normal mode, I didn't see that at all. Now, I haven't looked at the video off the SD card yet, so maybe I might see a little bit when we look at that. But on FPV, and the problem is my FPV wasn't that reliable, so I can't tell you for certain. But I didn't see any gimbal pitch shift in normal mode. Now, when I put it in sport mode, and this is a fast, quick little drone, we did see that. That's perfectly understandable in sport mode, because as the drone pitches over, that camera is going to look up, and they want to keep it from looking up at the brow on the front of the drone here. So they have the camera pitch down so you don't get that. DJI does that on their Mini 2. Because as you get into higher speeds and the drone is pitched more, you have to do that. But anyway, after I got done with that flight, and I got to be honest with you, I was disappointed in what I saw, the issues that I had with control signal and FPV signal. And I was putting everything away, and I looked in my car and I realized that I had my DJI Mavic Mini. Now, this is the original Mavic Mini, and I thought, well, you know, I thought, geez, is the problems I had with control, do we have a lot of Wi-Fi interference here in this park, etc.? Is that something that's causing it? So I thought I would prove or disprove that by flying this guy. And as you'll recall, the original Mavic Mini, it's not OcuSync, it's simply a Wi-Fi drone. And we flew this guy, and we had a very, very different experience. Now, at one point, we did have a control signal loss with this. I was out at about 700 meters over the field, and it was fine until I turned it around and it changed the orientation of the antennas, and we lost signal. But we got it right back. At about 500 meters, we got signal back, so and it was good. And I will also acknowledge there was one point that we were in the corner of the park here that I got a little dialog box at the top of the FPV screen that said some signal interference. But other than that, it was perfect. And the other thing that I got to tell you, and I'm going to acknowledge this isn't as fast a drone as the Fimi X8 Mini, so speed does make a difference, but we saw no unusual gimbal movements with this guy. A couple times I thought I saw maybe just a little bit of a hint of a tilt in the horizon, but we did some really quick yaws with this guy, and it was just fine. The horizon was nice and flat. The other thing I'll tell you is, even just flying this, when I first took off, it's so much more stable. This guy was moving around in the wind. The little DJI Mavic Mini was like it was hanging from a string. Anyway, there is a difference in drones. That's what I'm going to tell you. So, you know, Fimi, you got to keep working on this guy, and I'm kind of disappointed that you released the drone before it was really ready. But the flip side of that coin is I appreciate it that you keep pushing firmware updates out there to improve it, and hopefully we can get this guy refined to the point that it flies as good as this guy. And there are advantages to this Fimi Mini drone. It's got a lot of features that this DJI drone doesn't. Precision landing among them. It'll do waypoint missions. It'll do a lot more intelligent flight modes. It's a way faster drone. This guy is really sporty. It'll haul the mail pretty good. But ultimately, why are you flying a GPS camera drone? To get that nice video. And by the way, this films in 4K 30 frames per second. This is 2.7K. Although I'll tell you, I'll put the 2.7K out of this guy up against a lot of other drones with their 4K video, including this Mini. So anyway, you guys will see that now, and I'm gonna quit jabberjawing here and let you guys see the flights. So let's get these drones in the air. Okay, so the drone is reporting ready to go, but let's take a look at the safety menu here. And return to home height is at 50 meters. It's not asking for any calibrations. Pre-flight check, it says, is normal. So we'll format the SD card just for the fun of it. So the SD card is formatted. And you know, I can't think if precision landing is on. We always like to check that out. So, and sport mode is off, you'll notice there. It's not asking, like again, it's not asking for any kind of calibration, so we're good to go there. I don't see any reason why we can't take off. Let's look at the camera menu. 4K 30 frames per second. Video quality is medium. Let's throw that into high. So let's go ahead and start recording now. And again, we're in 4K 30 frames per second. Recording has started. I don't see any reason not to take off, so let's get this bird in the air. And there she is. She'll go up to about 4 meters in height. And it's pretty stable. It's wandering around a little bit. Again, I looked at UAV forecast. It's showing 10 mile an hour sustained with 21 mile an hour gusts. It just doesn't feel that windy right now, so it may or may not be. I'm looking at our horizon. That looks pretty good. I'm going to drop that gimbal down just a little. And let's bring the drone back down, and we'll turn it around here. And we'll bring it in. And you know, the wind came up a little bit. You can see the drone kind of tilted over there a little bit. It's coping with the wind just a little. So let's bring it in just a little bit more. See if we can get it to stay in front of us. It wants to move over that direction. Let's see if we can outguess it here. Anyway, let's jag it back and forth so you can see that little gimbal in action. That's me that just dropped it. But you can see the way that gimbal moves when we're tipping it back and forth. And let's bring it back in front of us, and let me tip it back a little bit, and you'll see the gimbal drop. And when we're talking about the gimbal staying out of the way of the top of the drone, let me move it back, and as we move it forward, you'll see the camera pick up a little. And that is normal behavior. That's how that gimbal keeps your shot stabilized. So, and I just realized I don't know if we had gimbal, what happened there, but I was really looking up there, so I should have had the gimbal further down. Sorry about that. I was looking at the drone and not at my FPV screen. So let's do our usual droney here. So we're gonna go reverse and up now, reverse and up. And again, we're in normal mode, and I'm seeing a little bit of stuttering on FPV. In fact, I'm seeing a fair amount of stuttering on FPV. And I'm gonna stop right there. And let's pick the gimbal up to see if we can get a little bit of the rule of thirds. And that's concerning when I see that stuttering on FPV. Yeah, and look, we already lost it there for just a second. Got no clue what that's about. I've had that issue off and on. There's times I can have a perfect flight without seeing that, and other times not. And you know, I've often asked, am I using a cover on my phone? Holding the phone up now, there's no cover on there. I'm plugged directly in. I've double checked those connections. So anyway, just wanted to show that's what that is. And what I've noticed out here at this park is that we've occasionally, see right now I'm trying to yaw and you see it's real blocky. And when the FPV is that blocky, it's kind of tough to fly because you know, you're trying to control the drone. Very, very blocky. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna go in forward flight right now. Now we're getting a compass interfered warning. So if that continues, I noticed that I get that often with this drone. If that continues, we'll bring it in and we'll do a compass cal. That's full stick forward, and you know, we lost FPV there for a second, and it's really jumping around. But and you can see the signal strength meters moving around, and I'm 160 meters away from the drone, and we lost it. Look at our signal strength meter there, and we have no FPV right now. Yeah, and then the signal strength meter, it's completely gone. So I am going to reverse the drone. There, we got it back, and it just came back all of a sudden there. Yeah. That's not good. And even look at our signal strength, and you know, the drone is 130 meters away from me, so don't know what that's about. You know, I know, Al, look at that, we've lost it completely again. So compass interfered. I'm going to do a return to home, and I'm going to do a compass calibration, and we'll eliminate that as an issue in this flight. So there, we got it back. And you know, I'm sorry about what we saw there. And even now I'm looking at it coming back on FPV, and it's pretty blocky. And we're pretty close. And it's showing full strength on the meters on the app. So here comes the drone. Like I said, we'll bring it down. I've got another battery. I'm going to switch out the battery as well. Down to 54%. Because we really haven't done any testing yet. And we still have that compass interfered warning. And you're hearing an aircraft. He is well above us, although he's above the park here, but he's way higher than we are. And we'll see if the drone will find it. If it doesn't find the pad, it'll just land in the grass. So it says detected, and this guy's usually pretty good about finding that landing pad, and it's working on it. Yeah, and it did. It's just off, and you can see that on the that it fell, just the back of the drone just fell off the pad. Okay, I'm going to shut everything down, and I'm going to put a new battery in, and then we'll do a compass cal and we'll take off again. Okay, so we're ready to go here. We recalibrated and we got it going. Let's go back into that camera menu. I'm sure we're going to have to go back and set the video quality to high. We did. Start recording, and let's take off again on the app. And the drone's doing okay. Don't have our compass warning anymore. Takeoff completed. So let's go ahead and move out. And so far so good. All right. You know, I have to say I have better FPV now than what we saw. Well, there you saw it a little bit. Well, as soon as I open my mouth there, we lose it. Yeah, we've lost FPV altogether, and we're not very far away. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do my best here, guys, and we'll just see what we can see. I just don't understand why we can't get a connection to the drone here. This is particularly bad today for some reason. So I am going to yaw around to the drone's right, because what we're really trying to look at here is if we get that gimbal pitch shift. And again, we're in normal mode. The horizon looks good. I see, you know, the FPV, yeah, and compass interfered again. I don't know. We just calibrated it. I don't know what to say about that. We're going to fly with that and see what happens. We're going to fly carefully, like it says. So we're full stick forward right now. And you can see the jerkiness on FPV. And I let off there, and we seem to be okay. Let's go back, let's turn back around the other way. And again, primarily what I'm trying to figure out here is the gimbal pitch shift. And there, you know, we're seeing as we spin around, we're seeing the a fair amount of tilt in the horizon, but it's leveling itself off here pretty quick. And again, we've got that compass interfered warning on there. Don't even know what to say about that. I'm going to go, we'll let that gimbal kind of settle down here, and it looks like it's kind of settled down, and I'm going to drop the gimbal just a little bit. And that's me dropping the gimbal. Okay, so I've got the line, my top grid line right on the horizon, and I'm going to go full stick forward right now. And again, we're in normal mode, and what we're interested in is see if we see any drop in that gimbal. And I don't see anything so far. Of course, I'm a little bit, as you can see, our FPV is pretty blocky here. And I'm off the stick now. And if anything, it looks like the gimbal raised a little bit, because remember, we had it set right on the horizon, but not bad. It wasn't a quick movement, so that's okay. Let's yaw around again. And we'll go to the other end of the park. And again, anytime you yaw, you see that horizon tilt. Get pretty significant there. Very significant there. But as we let off the stick, it should settle down here. And I'm going to give that gimbal a chance to settle down before we go full stick forward again. And it seems to be kind of straightening itself out. So let's give it just a second here. And I'm watching, you know, I can tell by the grid lines on my FPV screen. It's even, you know, we have the grid line a little bit above the horizon now. Let's see where it settles out. Yeah, it looks like it's settled down, and it's pretty flat now. It's straightened itself out. So, so we're going to go full stick forward on my mark. So mark. And we're going straight forward. And I haven't seen any tilt shift, so that's good. At about 16 meters per second, so that's moving along pretty good. And again, this is in normal mode. Again, you know, we had a little bit of horizon tilt there, not horrible, but it's there. Again, a little blink on FPV, and I'm seeing our FPV meter is in the orange rather than the full strength. And you know, we're only 187 meters away. I don't know what that's about. But let me just, maybe we'll just see if we can just fly around here a little bit and see what we get. And again, as we yaw, we're definitely seeing significant horizon tilt, but you know, that's just something, I don't know, we're probably just gonna have to cope with this drone, evidently. And I'm just flying kind of full stick forward here. We're just gonna fly this guy around a little bit. We've got a family out in front of us here throwing some glider airplanes around, so we're going to stay well above them. So we're kind of looking out. Let me see if I can. I'm going to dare to try and go over the field out here. Let's see if we can cross the road here without any cars. And boy, oh boy, is it blocky. I think we can go now. And as soon as I said that, I lost FPV, and I'm holding it up. And as you can see, we're 200 meters away, and I have a direct line of sight to the drone. Got the controller, the flat part of the controller pointed directly at it, and we're still moving. I've got telemetry, but FPV is just gone. And there we lost everything at about, I don't know, 350, 400 meters. So there, the drone turned around. It's going into return to home as it should, which is good news. We want it to do that. So let's just let it come back. And look, you can see control signal dropping out there. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I saw Al Duran fly his out on the James River. He had his out to 3.2 kilometers. So I'm just going to let this guy come back, and we'll see how we do. And you know, I will acknowledge this, that we are in a kind of an urban environment here with this park, so you're going to have a little bit of Wi-Fi interference, but you know, I fly a lot of other drones out here and don't have these kind of problems. But the one encouraging thing I can say here is I've not seen any gimbal pitch shift here at all. Gimbal flop. I mean, I don't know, you can look at the horizon right now and you can see it's a little crooked. And so I'm going to cancel that return because we don't want it to land here. Let's keep flying around. And you know what? Let's pick up our altitude so that, you know, nobody can say that we're not, you know, altitude-wise, we're not high enough. And boy, look at that horizon. Yeah, there's some tilt there, folks. So let's straighten it out. And as we yaw around, it kind of flattens around and tilts the other way now. Oh, Fimi, you got to do better than this. You just do. And there again, we you know, you can see our signal strength meter for the FPV is kind of moving around. Okay, so now I'm going to move sideways a little bit because I don't want to fly over these people that are flying their gliders around. I want to make sure I'm on the other side of them. If I can see anything. Lost FPV again. There we go. 225 meters away and lost FPV. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to throw it in sport mode, and let's and we should see, and it gave us a little warning there, we should see some gimbal pitch shift in sport mode. And the reason for that is that the drone has to pitch forward so far, and they're keeping the camera from pointing up at the drone or the props. So full stick forward on my mark. And let's look at our speed. Yeah, and we saw immediately, we saw a little pitch there. But you know what? It was just one drop, and that's perfectly acceptable, and that's perfectly normal. And we're moving right along. Well, not as fast as I would have thought. I don't know if it's going into the wind or what. Possibly. Okay, we're going to stop there. And again, you know, so much blockiness on FPV that it's a little hard to tell exactly what we're doing. And as we yaw around, Again, that horizon kind of moves around here a little bit, but we're going to go back the other way again in sport mode, and I'm going to pick that gimbal up, and let's go full stick forward now, and let's see what we get. Yeah, and there it pitched over a little bit, but just a small amount, and just in one controlled. Yeah, and there, yeah, well, there it did again. And of course, we were really hauling the mail there. We were about 18.5 meters per second. That's gosh, about 38 miles an hour. That is absolutely understandable for this little drone. So not complaining about that. And if you're going to fly in sport mode, you're going to expect a certain amount of gimbal pitch shift. We're down to 35% battery, so we're using up battery pretty quick. This is the standard battery I'm using in this guy. So let's get out of sport mode, and we're going to try that again, just to prove our theory that it's just in those high-speed situations that you get that gimbal pitch shift. And boy, I'm telling you, if anything, the horizon is worse than it was on my last flight. Okay, we'll pick the gimbal back up. Again, I'm going to move over this direction a little bit. I want to make sure. Yeah, now that was a little unintended movement there. I was just moving sideways, and it kind of yawed a little bit, so I don't know what that was about. We'll just ignore that for the moment. So I'm going to go full stick forward on my mark. And boy, we are really eating up the battery. Look, we're down to 31% already. But good deal. No gimbal pitch shift in normal mode. About 8.5 meters per second. Of course, we lost our FPV signal. Okay, I'm gonna very quickly, before we run out of battery, I'm gonna yaw around the other way, and we're gonna try that again. I'm sorry, this is really quick, and it's giving us the low battery warning, so we're gonna hurry here. Let me pick the gimbal up, and we're a little tilted, but full stick forward now on my right now. And we're moving about 15 meters per second, and no gimbal pitch, so that's good. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this guy home, and especially since we've lost our signal, and we were even in the red there on the control signal. So we put it into return to home, and the drone is coming back to us. And by the way, I'm pointing the remote directly up at the drone here. So what these signal issues are, I have no clue. You know, and I acknowledge that you could have a little Wi-Fi interference where we're at here, but it sure shouldn't be this bad. I mean, look at right there, it dropped out and we're 100 meters away, and I'm pointed directly at the drone with the controller. So pointed straight down here. Let's we'll just see if we can get another precision landing here. This guy does really, that's one of its strong points, is it nails that landing pretty good. It'll hit your landing pad typically right on the money. It was a little bit off last time, but you know, with a little bit of wind, but it'll find it as it comes down here. One of the things about this guy is it will not pick up that camera as it comes down. Most drones in the last meter or so, they'll pick the gimbal back up, but this guy won't do it, so you kind of have to do that yourself. And it does not need that that camera to find the pad either. And it's not finding it so far. Yeah, it's coming down here, and it is not finding the pad. So I am going to cancel that return. So I canceled that, and I'm going to bring it forward here. So the wind is making it a little tough here, because the wind keeps pushing it over. Let's try that. Full stick down. No. Yeah, it's definitely blowing us around here. Well, I missed the pad there, guys. So what that proves is my precision landing is no better than the drones. Okay, so I have got the DJI Mavic Mini in. I've checked the safety menu already and we're looking good. Didn't need any calibrations. We're sitting here on the sidewalk. Started recording in 2.7K 30. We're just going to take off here with auto takeoff. And we're looking good. We bring the drone around the other way here. And boy, is it stable. It's amazing how much more I just can tell you. And look at that horizon. The horizon is perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna get some altitude here, and I can tell you that's me dropping the gimbal down there. Well, I should have actually raised it a little bit. And let's fly out into the corner, and we're gonna go corner to corner. Now, if I'm perfectly fair, the horizon might be just a little bit off. Pretty darn not too bad though. So I'm flying out into the corner of the park here, where we saw interference with the Fimi X8 Mini. And I'm going to do a quick yaw, and look at that. It really didn't do anything crazy with the horizon. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so we're going to go full stick forward this way, and we saw out here in this corner of the park, we had some issues with connection, and we're 31 meters high. I think we were a little higher than that, so let's go higher. I think we were about 50 meters high, I think, as I recall, with the Fimi, so that's pretty close. Nothing, you know, you see the gimbal working perfect. Okay, I'm going to do a really quick yaw to the drones right here. Let's see what that does to the horizon. Look at that, perfectly flat horizon. Okay, we're going to go full stick forward here, and we are full forward at about the same as we were with the Mini, or with the Fimi Mini, about 8 meters per second. No horizon, no gimbal shift, nice horizon, and funny, nice smooth FPV too. So let's go back and look the other way. And as we yawed there might have been just a little bit of a hint of horizon tilt, but not much, and it's looking good this way. So again, on my mark, full tilt forward, mark. And we are full stick forward, and let's see how fast it goes. And this drone is not as fast as the Fimi drone. And you know, you can see that we're barely going to get up to 8 meters per second here. Okay. So let's turn around here and let's put it into sport mode, and we'll try that. And again, this is not the Mini 2. This is the original DJI Mini. This is just a Wi-Fi drone. So see if I can remember. Oh, geez. Sport mode is at the top. I was looking for it in the menus. That's what you get when you fly different drones. So we're in sport mode now. And let me back it up just a little bit here. And again, okay, just for the fun of it, I've got the controller pointed the opposite direction of where the drone is. I'm pointed directly away from the drone with the controller. And it looks like we got pretty good FPV. So full stick forward now, and we're in sport mode. What do you know? No drop in the gimbal. We're, you know, we're not going that fast. We're under you know, this is probably about half as fast as what the Fimi was going, so let's be fair about that. And letting off the stick now. Look, that gimbal looks really good. Let's go out here, and boy, the yaw is sped up on this guy. So let's go and let's see if we can get across, see if we can time it where between these cars. Oh, I'm gonna stop there, let those guys go by. We got a few cars coming, so we're gonna let them go by before we hit it here. And I think we can hit it now. Time it right behind this white car. And in between that guy, we got it made. So, as you saw, when we got out here into the field with the Fimi Mini, we really lost it. We had no FPV, and I'm getting a wind warning here, and that's common with this little guy. But we'll work through that a little bit. The drone is still handling fine. We're up to 12 meters per second. No issues with the gimbal. We're out almost 500 meters. If I go out to the corner of this field out here, I've been out there before, that's about 1 kilometer. And again, I'm where I'm standing right now, I'm a little bit obstructed by the picnic shelter, but yet we've got really nice signal. So anything with regard to Wi-Fi interference, yeah, we're getting that wind warning. I don't want to mess with that with the drone this far out, so let's go ahead and turn him around. Anyway, we're out over 700 meters and really having no issues with Wi-Fi connection. Strong connection with this guy. Sport mode, I a little bit over yawed there. Let's full stick forward again. And now I'm getting I got a weak signal warning. Yeah, there, we lost it when I turned the drone around. So it's going to go into return to home. But there, we got it back. Okay. Before it went into return to home, so we got it back at about 500 meters. So when you turn around the drone around, it changes the aspect of the antenna that are in the legs of the drone. So I'm sure that's what happened there. But nonetheless, you know, we immediately got it back, and look, there's no blockiness or anything. Let's see. Looks like we got an opportunity here to go sneak in behind this guy, and we're back over the park again. And still at 50% battery, so I'm going to go right to the opposite corner here. 13 meters per second, which is about, I think, as fast as this little guy is going to go. Getting that wind warning again, but we're okay. We're over the park. That's me adjusting the yaw. And you know, you see nice flat horizon, and you don't see the gimbal wobbling around or anything. So anyway, I think that kind of proves our point. I'm going to do another quick yaw again to the opposite corner. Look at that, horizon is nice and flat. And we're going to go full stick forward. We're going to go to the Costco corner, I'll call it, over here, looking over at Costco over there. And you know, again, we're 180 meters away, whatever. 200 meters away, looking good. Okay, so I think we've pretty much proved our point here. You know, that if there's Wi-Fi interference, it's not bugging this drone. Well, although we did get a little signal interference sign there, but it didn't seem to affect much of anything. So let's go ahead and put the drone into return to home. And this guy does not have precision landing. The Fimi does that. The Fimi does precision landing much better than the DJI Mini. And that's me dropping the gimbal down as we come back. And we'll see if we can land right on the corner here by the picnic shelter. Looking down, And by golly, it's still going to be pretty close. Kind of coming down in the grass. That's okay. I'd rather it come down there than on top of the roof here. So when it gets down here a ways, we'll turn off. I'll cancel landing. Okay, canceled landing. Picking that camera back up. And I have my GoPro pointed towards me because I want that microphone pointed at me. I don't have my wireless mic on. Are we straight over the concrete here? I'd say that's pretty good. Let's move this way just a little. Move up just a little. And I'm going to pull the stick straight down, and let's watch it pick that gimbal back up. So straight down, we're going to put it in landing mode. And it'll pick the gimbal up as it comes down. Like that feature. Fimi needs to add that to their Mini. Landed with 38% battery. You know, we were recording for about 11 minutes there. Okie dokie, so you saw that already. You saw the issues that I had with the compass and some other things with this guy, and landing it, putting another battery in it, etc. And when I was doing that narration, I didn't know at that time that I was going to compare it to the Mavic Mini. So you'll hear that in the narration. But most of all, I hope you got something out of this, and you know, let's just keep hoping that that Fimi will keep improving this drone. It's got a lot of promise. I like this guy, and I just want it to get better. But at the same time, you so have to appreciate DJI, and you know, flying this drone after flying the Fimi is just amazing. The flight controls, the stability of the drone, etc. Yeah, it's pretty darn cool. So that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And yeah, of course, we'll see you on the next one. The Fimi X8 Mini and the DJI, the original, the OG Mavic Mini. Talk to you later. See ya.